I've grown up with a sort of narrative about my country, Gandhian narrative of what the country is, what it should look like, what is important. So that's what drives me. I'm not concerned really about threats of violence and assassination and stuff. Everybody's got to die, So, that's what I learned from my grandmother and my father. So, you don't back down because of something like that.
What are your concerns with regard to the use of the citizenship law to expel Muslim Indians who have lived in India for generations? How would you handle things differently?
I think all Indian people, right, have a right to expression. All Indian people have a right to religious freedom. All Indian communities should feel free to express themselves. So I don't differentiate between any community, any caste. I think India, as I mentioned just now, is a conversation, and the freer and more open that conversation, the more powerful India becomes.
So is the way you were disqualified from Parliament and what is happening in Pakistan, do you see any similarities here, and what does that say about politics in the region?
I don't know. Look, as you said, I asked a rhetorical question. I asked the question, why, you described it.
Right.
I'm fighting a court case, so I have to be careful. But I asked a rhetorical question. And I'm the first person in India to be given the highest punishment for a defamation case. It's the first case, I'm the first person in Indian history since 1947. Right? Nobody has been given the maximum sentence on defamation, and that too on the first offense. Right? So that should explain what's going on to you. And my disqualification happens, quite interestingly, after I make a speech about Mr. Adani on Parliament. So you can do the math.
Let's see.
But my disqualification is not really, it's okay, it's not the most important thing. The most important thing is the thousands and thousands of other voices, civil society, government, bureaucracy, who are being frightened into submission. That's much more important to me than my disqualification. My disqualification in many ways is an advantage for me.
How so?
Because it opens up completely new spaces for me. It allows me to completely redefine myself. And I think they've given me a gift, frankly. They don't think they realize it, but they have. Politics is not linear. It's like, it can suddenly go off into another direction. It's asymmetric. So I think they've given me a gift. It's not apparent right now, but I think they have.
What is your reaction to Prime Minister Modi's statement that not an inch of land has been lost to the border with China? And can you talk about India's relationship with China and how it's changing?
The fact of the matter is China is occupying our territory. It's an accepted fact. I think 1,500 square kilometers, land the size of Delhi, is occupied by them. And I think, it's absolutely unacceptable. Prime Minister seems to believe otherwise. So I don't know. Maybe he knows something we don't know.